Let's start off in the EU, and we got an interesting Instagram reel that popped up, which kind of relates. Well, let's watch it first, and then we get into it. So
Yeah. So give me a sec.
he doesn't have music or anything in the background.
New with you. Some people from our government stole millions from the EU. Wait, what? Yeah, it was a huge scandal. Okay, what's the story? So some powerful people here pretended they were farmers. They told the EU, hey, we have goats, sheep, and farms. And they told the EU, can we have some money to help take care of them? And we believed them, so we sent them hundreds of millions of euros in farm aid money while you were trying to help. Yeah, money that was supposed to help real farmers. Yeah, so the issue is those people were lying. There were no goats, sheep, farms, not even banana trees on Mount Olympus. What? Yeah, someone said they're growing banana trees on Mount Olympus. Snowy Mount Olympus. Anyways, those people lied and stole so much money. And how were they caught? Our detective team was like, something seems fishy. Yeah, it definitely was. Our detective team wrote a 3,000-page report showing that the Greek government was included in the scam. 3,000 pages? And from those people were ministers, lawmakers, and workers in a farm payment agency. That's like a whole gang. They were! The investigators even listened to phone calls, and bro, they were bad. Why? They were talking as if they didn't care that they stole so much money. Yeah, they stole it. I don't think they really cared. Yeah, and thing is, a lot of people here got mad because that money was supposed to go to farmers, not random stealing politicians. But you arrested them, right? Well, thing is, politicians here have immunity, so they cannot go to jail unless parliament says so. Yes, our detectives sent that 3,000-page report to the Greek parliament and said, please arrest them. And our prime minister said, we failed. Well, as long as they're trying to fix the problem, that's what's needed. Well, I don't know if they're fixing it because we fined Greece 415 million euros. And our people are mad because this is going to be taken out of taxes, although some politicians stole that money. I really wonder who would even trust politicians anymore. Hey, Greece, what's new with you? Some people...
Yeah, so that was it.
Even bringing that up, trusting politicians, I've said it in the past. I don't trust no politicians. It's
exactly, and if you just check out the comments of that video, everybody is like, "Oh, what's new?" Like, politicians like stealing from people, and
it's crazy. I mean, this is in relation to basically how Greece has seen an increasing tension over the land use and agricultural policy and environmental regulations in recent years. And I think it's not only Greece, it's also across the Mediterranean, because this seems, we're focusing right now on Greece, but this is
European subsidies, right?
The southern states of Europe tend to be particularly victim to this. In particular, I know like with Spain as well, and Portugal, and even Italy. And it falls into like several categories, right? There's the land grabs and privatization, farmers that have protested against policies that allow large corporations or politically connected individuals to acquire farmland, sometimes at the expense of small-scale farmers or through questionable legal means. Interestingly enough, Keir Starmer was doing this in the UK recently and openly even stated how when he got into office, he was saying how he was going to protect the farmer, and then openly stated that he was selling off land to guess who? None other than BlackRock. Who basically own almost everything. So, I mean, we mentioned this, I think, in one of our earlier streams. And the other category is the water and environmental management, where drafts and mismanagement of irrigation infrastructure have made farming difficult. And some activists allege that powerful interests are redirecting water resources or rezoning land for non-agricultural development like energy or tourism. And tourism is another thing that obviously Greece is suffering from, like most other southern states in Europe who are protesting right now, because it's causing not only environmental damage, but it's also causing a lot of problems to the locals, because they're getting a bit aggravated with this. Third category, EU agricultural policy, or CAP. The common agricultural policy distributes subsidies, but farmers often claim the funds benefit larger landowners and businesses, again raising concerns about fairness and political connections. This is kind of giving us flashbacks of how feudal times were back in the olden days.
Yes, I remember, like, before the French Revolution, like in France, all the people didn't own their land, and it was like the nobility, the rich guys, and they all paid rent, like to farm.
Yeah,
and everybody was pissed off until they chopped their heads off.
I mean, they were vassals
monarchy.
basically. They were taxed, and they never really owned the land. It was
I mean,
exactly.
people were farming, but they were also starving as well at the same time.
I mean,
because they couldn't afford rent.
Yeah. So this article is also interconnected with the real, because this is about in Greece, like many parliamentary democracies, members of parliament, MPs, having legal immunity from prosecution while in office, which I think is just disgraceful. You should not have legal immunity.
What is it called? Like asylum, like they're immune to laws and stuff.
Yeah.
So they can't be taken to court seriously. Like maybe they could be, but they won't be charged. So it's kind of insane. Like a politician should not be exempt from a punishment, from laws,
or being convicted for a crime. Yeah.
Justice. What is this?
I was just checking to see across the EU what other countries, and apparently, like in France, members of parliament have partial immunity. Germany, in the Bundestag, members enjoy limited immunity, so that's interesting. Italy, Italy, much like Greece, Italian MPs have strong protections. In Spain, senators have legal immunity and are only tried by the Supreme Court. Poland MPs enjoy parliamentary immunity, and Hungary MPs have immunity from criminal proceedings unless the parliament waives it. Netherlands, very limited immunity.
It's very concerning, like for some countries where like politicians just don't have any accountability, like they can do whatever they want.
Well, this is the trouble, isn't it? And this is part of the reason why most people have lost their trust anyway in politicians, because first of all, the government lacks transparency, and second of all, we know that corporations also lack transparency, and then the whole bridge between the two. And then on top of that, there is clearly an inequality in justice, especially for people who have, what they call the wealthier class, the elites, like such as people in corporations and also politicians. And we've seen that in so many cases. And that's why people are cynical and jaded, and why they just switch off. Like, Epstein, Diddy, who cares? It doesn't matter. Like, I'm just giving some examples, but we'll get to Diddy later because that's quite interesting.
There's been some updates.
But so the reason for this is apparently the system was designed to protect MPs from politically motivated prosecutions. But in practice, obviously the immunity has been often criticized as a way for politicians to avoid accountability, just as Ed just mentioned, and especially in cases involving corruption, bribery, or abuse of power, the trifecta of every government.
So what's also interesting is that even though like politicians have diplomatic immunity, 5 government officials resigned like regarding this. But they also mentioned that, like the Greek PM could be involved directly, like,
I mean, most
because
likely
I think they claimed that he's like an olive farmer. I mean, he might have like olive land, like trees with olive trees, land with olive trees, but it might not make him directly a farmer. Like, he's the PM of the country. A lot of people are asking, is he actually a farmer?
So this is in relation to what you're talking about, the new emails.
Or does he have people working for him who on the land? Like, what is lawful? A lot of people are saying he's just taking advantage of the system.
Right.
And I don't know.
This is in relation to the new emails linking the Greek Prime Minister's office to a big farm subsidy fraud scandal. And some people.
It depends, like what the law says. Like, is he allowed to earn money from that on the side? I don't know.
Well, the problem is people have faked owning farms to grab EU money, and the EU does apply a lot of grants. And as we've known already before, that the EU is not very transparent with NGOs and a number of other things. Especially right now, Ursula von der Leyen is under fire because of allocation of funds for this defense plan and other things
as well.
Yeah, without parliamentary approval. By parliamentary approval, I mean the EU Parliament.
Yes, the EU Parliament is during the EU Commission.
That's why she. So this is why 5 top officials of the Greek Parliament quit. and a former agricultural minister, as you mentioned. And people in Greece, they've been screwed over countless times, just like most people in the southern states,
I mean,
countless
there could be
times.
some farmers who aren't entitled to get any subsidies for some
Right.
reason. Like some are, some aren't, and they're like, "Why is the money going elsewhere?"
And there have been high-profile cases of like this in the past, in a different way, such as the Siemens bribery scandal, the Novartis case.
Yes.
And MPs were accused of serious crimes but avoided prosecution due to this immunity. And again, once again, this comes back to the fact that people are fed up and frustrated and sick and tired, and they just, but the problem is they don't also, I think it comes to a point that people don't know what to do, because we're told, well, vote for that team, because that team will sort out that problem, but they never do, because they're just as corrupt and they just do the same thing.
And like you mentioned, these are huge deals that go under the table. Like Siemens does all the telecommunication, like all the cables, like for the entire country, and Novartis, I think they like for pharmaceuticals, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah,
well, that's what's going on right now. Novartis, pharmaceutical, it's a multinational pharmaceutical corporation, indeed.